Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Listen, welcome, 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 y'all, to season 2 of LMG Community Book Club. Listen, y'all, today we are at Mo and D's in the big city of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, y'all. And our author spotlight for today is none other than my sister, Katrice Johnson. Girl, come on, y'all. Give it up for my girl on today. Yes. You are in the hot seat on today, girl. Listen, long time coming. Long time coming. I am super proud to be standing up here with you today, to be introducing you on today for your book. Listen, y'all, this is the first of many, but this is probably about her fourth one. But it's first book that she's going to put out. Can I say that, y'all? I've seen you working on your projects for a long time, and God has given you this, and you've been passionate about it. So listen on today, y'all. I need y'all to sit back. I need y'all to listen real good. Put your listening ears on. Make sure you ask questions because, listen, the book says when God says he's not the one. Come on. When God says he's not the one, embracing God's will and accepting singleness. And this is about a journey of love, healing, and choosing alignment over attachment. Come on, somebody. Come on. It says a journey of love, healing, and choosing alignment over attachment. So again, y'all, welcome to season 2, y'all, of the LMG Book Club Series. And today my sister's about to put it out. You ready, girl?
Yes.
Yes, you ready? So I'm gonna move on out the way. So this next voice that y'all gonna hear is none other than my sister, my best friend. Her mother is here today. She got family out here. Her daughters are supporting her on today, and we are just grateful to be in the building. But I cannot move out the way, y'all, without giving a big shout out to my brother Fonte Lyles, who make this thing happen for us. Come on, y'all, let's give a hand clap. Yes, with the Lyles Media Group Studio and LMG Community Book Club. And we want to also thank Mo DeLoach for allowing us to use this great establishment. All right, y'all. You ready? Let's go.
Yes. All right. So first, I just want to thank you all for taking the time to come out today. This has truly been a journey. Some years ago, God whispered to me, he's not the one. And it took me a while to even accept or process hearing those words, God saying to me, he's not the one. Took some years, actually. But December 2025, I finally finished the project, finally finished the book. It was not easy. I might get emotional, very personal stuff, but very much needed. So again, thank you for being here. We'll start with the introduction. Love is not supposed to feel this hard. When your prayers begin to echo confusion instead of peace, something is shifting. I have been there, loving someone I wanted a future with, asking God for clarity, and slowly realizing the connection I held close was not meant to last. This book is my journey through heartbreak, healing, and learning to trust God when love did not unfold the way I hoped. I have loved deeply. I have believed in love wholeheartedly. It is frustrating to genuinely love someone and you cannot make them see, understand, or embrace the love you have to give, for the love to be reciprocated. I have given my heart to people who admired me, affirmed me, and even told me I was everything they wanted, yet still did not choose me. For a long time, that contradiction left me questioning myself. Why was I not enough? How could they seem to see my value, but not commit to it? Why did love feel so close, yet so far out of reach? I know what it feels like to love someone and struggle to find the words to explain just how deeply you care, especially when the feelings are not fully returned. You know who he is. You see the way he treats others, the passion he carries for the things that matter to him, his work ethic, his heart. You recognize his goodness, yet somehow his heart does not recognize you in the same way. And that leaves you wondering, why not? I have been told I was perfect, that I checked every box, that I was too good to be true, and in each of those situations, the ending was the same. They did not choose me. Each time I found myself replaying conversations, looking for where things shifted, wondering how doing everything right still led to disappointment. One of the hardest moments for me was sitting in heartbreak so deep. I literally cried to my dad, asking him what was wrong with me because love never seemed to choose me back. He reminded me of something I had forgotten in my pain. I was not unworthy or lacking. My dad has always been present in my life and an amazing example of love. His love and presence grounded me during a time when my heart felt unsteady, and I will always be grateful for the example of love he's shown. There were seasons when I loved people from a distance because loving them up close was unhealthy. Seasons when I ignored what God was trying to show me because my heart was already attached. I made the decision to open my heart to people and then ask God to bless it instead of consulting God from the very beginning. Have you ever considered that loving someone or being in love with someone that does not feel the same is not the love God intends or desire for you? Have you ever considered that God was answering your prayers and he is not the one? God answered my prayers by removing the very person I was asking him to keep. Accepting the answer was not easy. Embracing singleness was not something I rushed into with excitement. It required honesty, self-reflection, and the willingness to confront patterns I had avoided for years. It required me to sit with heartbreak instead of distracting myself from it. We experience heartbreak after heartbreak and question why we are unlucky with love. This book was birthed from that season. It is not about blaming anyone. It is about breaking my silence. It is about telling my truth. It is about understanding that heartbreak is not always rejection. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is protection. When God says he's not the one, accepting God's will and embracing singleness. Woo, and that's in the book. Woo, that's that. Yeah. So sis, grab your tea and your pen. It's about to get deep. And I have gift bags with pens and notepads. If anybody did not get one, if you like one of my girls will get that for you. So where do we start? Self-reflection. Have you ever been tired, or as the saying goes, sick and tired of being sick and tired? Oh, I know that feeling all too well. But what I realize is it does not have to get to that point. You do not have to hit rock bottom or reach sick and tired before you begin to act. Self-reflection is so important. Reflecting on the things you want and the things you do not want will help you to set goals, expectations, and boundaries. I once heard a quote that stayed with me. Everything I'm not made me everything I am. At first, it sounded simple. Over time, it became deeply personal. Everything I'm not made me everything I am. Oh, that's deep. To unpack this statement, everything I'm not. Think of the things you are not. The thing you may have experienced in your past that was not you, and begin to write those things down. For me, I was not weak. I was not a victim. I was not going to be defeated because of my circumstance. I was not going to give up on myself and not give up on love. I was not going to be bitter. I was determined to accept the place God has me, embrace being single, and trust God in this journey of singleness, knowing that God's will for my life is greater than anything I could imagine for myself. Every person, every situation is different. Though there may be some similarities in our experiences, the feeling of heartbreak is universal. This book shares some of my personal experiences and what I have learned throughout the journey of accepting when God says He's not the one, and embracing singleness. Throughout this book, I share my vulnerability, very personal experiences, and face the truth in each situation. These pages hold my experiences, my healing, my faith, and the lessons I learned when God said He's not the one. Not to expose anyone, but to share my truth. This is an invitation to reflect, to heal, and to trust that God's will leads you somewhere better. And that is a long introduction. Okay, snap with one finger. I don't know how to do it with the other one. Okay. All right, so that was the introduction. That was pretty deep, kind of a lot. All right, chapter 1, Love is Blind. Love can feel like both a miracle and a maze. A miracle because it feels like answered prayers, like relief after waiting, like something God finally allowed. A maze because when desire leads instead of discernment, clarity begins to fade. For a long time, I believe I was seeing clearly because I was leading with my heart. I thought hope was strength. I thought holding on made me loyal. But there were moments when I knew I wasn't being chosen. The effort was unmatched, and the silence was louder than their words. I believe God was speaking long before I was ready to hear Him. The message was steady. This is not love. He's not the one. But desire can be louder than discernment. Somewhere between the conversations, the connection, and the comfort, your vision starts to blur. Not because everything is right, but because you want it to be. And when hope is loud, it can drown out what your spirit has been whispering all along. That is where the blindness begins. For many women, the root of that blindness is not desperation, it is hope. The desire to finally experience the love you have prayed for, dreamed about, and waited on. So, when someone offers even a piece of what you desire, you want it to work. You want this to be the moment your story changes. And hope, when it is not grounded in truth, can blur your vision. What we sometimes call grace is really avoidance. What we call patience is sometimes fear. What we call loyalty can become self-neglect. Love rarely blinds us through one obvious moment. It happens slowly. A shift in tone you tell yourself not to overthink. A lack of effort you excuse because he's trying. A promise forgotten, then explained away. A moment where someone shows you exactly who they are, and you blink, hoping you misread it. At first, you excuse it because you care, then because you are invested, then because you do not want to start over. Eventually, you excuse it because admitting the truth would require too much. No woman is blinded by accident. We become blinded when we choose potential over patterns, words over actions, and hope over reality. We convince ourselves that effort can fix incompatibility or that love will change someone. Sometimes we are blinded simply because we are tired, so we accept the bare minimum and call it progress. We settle for inconsistency and call it chemistry. We hold on to confusion and call it love because we want it to be. Red flags do not confuse us. They confirm what we already know, but are not ready to accept. Women do not ignore the truth because we are weak. We ignore it because we care deeply. We love sincerely and hope boldly. We believe our consistency will inspire theirs, so we keep giving even when it costs us. Sometimes, if we are honest, we ignore the truth simply because we do not want to be alone. Then comes a moment when the blindfold loosens. The unveiling is not as painful as the illusion that came before it. What hurts most is not what you finally see, but how long you chose not to. There is freedom in finally seeing what was always there, not because it proves you were foolish, but because it shows you are growing. It does not shame you, it anchors you. It helps you make sense of what happened without tearing yourself apart in the process. When the veil lifts, you do not just see the relationship for what it was, you see yourself, where you ignored your intuition, where you hoped harder than reality allowed, where you talked yourself out of what you already knew. In that clarity, something shifts. You take responsibility without tearing yourself down. You gain understanding without growing bitter. Clarity does not just reveal the truth about them, it reveals the truth about you. And when you accept the truth, you reclaim your vision. Love was never meant to blind you. It was meant to guide you, align you, sharpen your discernment. It brings peace, not confusion. It embraces you fully. Sometimes realizing you were blinded by love is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of healing. Once you see clearly, you notice how much of yourself you gave away trying to hold on, how many pieces of you were adjusted, poured out, and overlooked because you wanted love. And that is where the next chapter begins. These things kind of all right, like how much more y'all want? Because like I was gonna skip to the end. Like I wanted to. Hey Sonya, I wanted to skip, but okay. All right. What's chapter 5? Chapter 5? What's chapter 5? Girl, I don't know about it. Let's stay on track. Shanita, reel it in. Okay. y'all got to read that at your leisure. Read it at your leisure. Okay. All right, let's see where I want to shift. Let's shift to... All right, so we did the introduction, chapter 1, which is Love is Blind. Let's go to chapter 4, Perfected Love. This gets a little personal. Yeah, a lot of what I share is very personal, and I guess I didn't realize how deep I was in my thoughts until like I read out loud, and just to hear my thoughts and to see it all come into fruition is crazy, but yeah. All right, so chapter 4, Perfected Love. You did everything love said, my friend Jennifer said to me as I talked with her on the phone while on my way home. I remember being so hurt that the relationship with the person I thought was my husband had ended. Yeah, I can't see. I was so broken. All day I was numb, but I maintained my composure throughout the day. As I pulled into my driveway, I could finally release the emotions I had been holding in all day. As I was talking to Jennifer, she listened, she encouraged me, and she prayed with and for me. I recall feeling a heavy weight on my chest. You have heard the idiom, like a ton of bricks. Well, the weight of this heartbreak felt like a ton of bricks resting on my chest. As I shared the details of my heartbreaking experience, I shared my response. I began to weep uncontrollably. I could not catch my breath. My response to the man I was certain God told me was my husband was, I want the best for you, even if he felt it was not me. Honestly, my response had to be God, God's grace, the strength of God, because the old me would have flipped out. Jennifer commended me for handling him, the man that broke my heart, with grace. She said, wow, that is pure love. The love you have for him is beautiful. You did everything that love said. That statement was so profound to me. I did everything love said. If you're like me, you are wondering what love said. In 1 Corinthians, Apostle Paul writes a letter addressing the church in Corinth about issues they were facing. How to embrace people with love, and that love triumphs all. Love is the foundation. Then he describes what love truly is, not just in feeling, but in actions and attitude. In 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 4, or verse 4, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And then 13, and now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13 is not just about romantic love. It is about how we treat everyone. It challenges us to love like Jesus, now y'all bear with me, sacrificially, humbly, and consistently. Real love shows up in how we live, how we treat, and how we respond to others. As I read 1 Corinthians and I reflected, I realized how profound Jennifer's statement was. I was patient. I was kind. My connection to him was not self-seeking. I always wanted to be an asset in his life. I was concerned with his well-being in every aspect of his life. I embraced, protected, and carried his dreams and visions as my own. I trusted not in him, but in God. Let me explain. We put our trust in man, but we are all imperfect beings. And though our intentions may be good, sometimes we still hurt the ones we care for. We still hurt the ones we love. For that reason, my trust was not in him, but in God. I was seeking God in every aspect of our connection. For months, I prayed about our connection. I asked God for confirmation and for clarity on the nature of our relationship with this man, and my relationship with this man I had fallen in love with. I was hopeful that me diligently seeking God would lead to a committed relationship with this man, that he and I would become one, that we would build God's kingdom together and encourage God's people together. I believe the dreams and the confirmations God had given me would be fulfilled. I was certain he was my husband, so I remained patient. I remained kind. I did not dishonor him. I did not keep a record of wrongs. I was not easily angered during moments of frustration or uncertainty. As my conversation with Jennifer continued, there was a sense of relief. The weight on my chest felt a little lighter. I had done everything I could. I loved him the way God called us to love. I knew that I had been true to myself and true to the love I had for him. At the time, I did not realize that loving him that way, fully, patiently, and without condition, was teaching me what perfected love truly meant. I recall a message from a Bible study. The minister was teaching about the foundations of the kingdom and seeking God. He said, in kingdom, always practice forgiveness. He shared one of the foundations of the kingdom is love. God is love, John 3:16. God gave us love first, then he gave us Jesus. We are not perfect or free of sin, and he still loves us. There was something incredibly special about that message that, unbeknownst to me at the time, would become forever embedded in my heart. The minister continued to share, God does not force us to choose him. When I heard that, it was as though fire struck my heart. God does not force us to choose him. And in that moment, I understood something clearly. If God does not force us, if God does not force himself on us, then love was never meant to be forced either. That day, I also chose not to force someone to love me. I released the need to convince him of my worth or prove myself through effort, consistency, or sacrifice. Those were never strategies for love anyway. They were simply who I am, my character, my nature, my heart. That day was the day I chose to love differently. Not the idea of love, not love attached to an outcome. I chose to love unconditionally, without control, without manipulation. I chose to love from a place of freedom, not fear, from alignment, not anxiety. And even when he told me he had chosen someone else, my love did not disappear. My love was never dependent on being chosen. I loved him because that was how God taught me to love, without condition, without demands, without resentment. That conversation with Jennifer stayed with me because I learned that loving the way God calls us to love does not guarantee the outcome we hope for, but it does guarantee peace in how we show up. I loved him honestly, freely, without conditions attached to his response. And when he chose differently, my love did not collapse. Perfected love does not cling. It does not manipulate. It does not require reciprocity to remain pure. It loves from a place of alignment with God, not from fear of abandonment. That day, I understood that I could love deeply without losing myself and release someone without bitterness, resentment, or regret. He did not lose me by accident. He chose something different. I did not stop loving because he chose someone else. I stopped attaching my love to an outcome God never promised. And in doing so, I realized something sacred. Loving the way God calls us to love is not about being chosen by another person. It is about remaining faithful to who God has called you to be. Even when love costs you something, that is perfected love, agape love. All right. And so that was a perfected love. And I'm going to skip to chapter 7, which is God's will over my desire. And I'm going to start at on page 49. Throughout the journey of healing, God took the veil off my eyes, and I realized God's will is my desire. I thought I wanted a relationship. God wanted me whole. I thought I wanted a man to choose me. God needed me to know I already was chosen. And here is what still humbles me. I wanted love, I wanted peace and security. God gave me that God gave me that outside of a relationship. He gave it in healing, He gave it in clarity, He gave it in self-awareness, He gave it in protection from what I thought I wanted. God's will for our lives includes peace, not confusion. It leads us towards wholeness, healing, and a sound mind instead of emotional chaos. It includes truth, honesty, and clarity, not deception or mixed signals. It reflects a love that is patient, kind, and steady, not love that breaks us down or makes us question our worth. Many of us confuse God's will with our want, and we end up grieving what God never promised. And I'm going to stop there. Okay. It's on you. It's on you.
She said it. My chat, my. She said this is on me. Can you hear me?
You got it on?
We on now. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Woo, child.
That was a lot. I felt like that was a lot.
They want enough because we wanted. Who wanted chapter 5, y'all? We wanted 5 and 6, but okay, it's okay. She said read it at our own timing, y'all. But listen, child, listen. Let's go back right here. Let's go back. This last what you. Can we just go back before we get some questions? Can we just go back? Can you just go back to this? This last. It reflects a love that is patient, kind, and steady. Not love that breaks us down or makes us question our worth. Come on, how many of us in here, men and women, we question our worth, and that type of love ain't even the love that we. Come on, somebody says. Can I tell you, you did that? Listen. I know y'all got some questions out there. At this time, we're going to open up for question and answer. But I just want to say, when God says He's not the one, or he not the one, if it got to make you question who you are, if it got to make you rethink about what your worth is, come on. Everybody needs to get this book. When God says He's not the one. Come on, I'm talking to the unhealed sisters out here. Listen, we might have to put he or she, because we got some unhealed brothers out here too, right? I think you need to do a part 2 series when God say she's not the one. Yeah. I think that need to be a part 2 series. So can't leave the brothers out, you know.
Right.
But listen, y'all, today, sis.
Yes.
When God says He's not the one. So I want to go with the first question, right?
Okay.
She's about to okay. At what point in your life that you realized after the heartbreak, at what point did you realize, like, I gotta share this with somebody else?
So honestly, like I said, some of this is very personal, right? So the chapters y'all want to hear. You know, honestly, so in 2024, that was a year. First, let me rewind. Let me back up and say that this book is not about one person, but it is about my journey. So it's not about one incident, one heartbreak, one person. But in 2024, I did experience heartbreak. And it was just something very different about that heartbreak. And so I've always written, and so I found myself writing as it was happening. So like words that's in this book is like as I live the experience. So this has truly been a part of like my healing process. And so the main thing was me really just getting through my emotions and going through the healing process. But I knew that God had called me to write this book a long time ago, because even before this heartbreak, years before this, God had already whispered he's not the one. And it wasn't even that person. Like, God is just not going to let me settle, until I do the work that he's given. And so what was different this time was like, okay, God, I was so sure. And so this time it was, okay, God, I hear you. And so it was me really truly being obedient to the assignment that I already knew God had given.
Being obedient to the assignment that she knew God had already given her. Woo! That's a book by itself. I'm going to come on out there to the world out here. So I'm going to bring the mic out here. That's right. I'm doing it right. Yeah. And anybody got any questions out here?
So first, I want to say I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I already know that this book right here is going to help me, because I went through a lot of heartbreak too. Being in a marriage where I knew that this was going to be the marriage until I die. I was married for 15 years. And then, going through that divorce, that's when my grief and all of that came about. But I just want to say that I feel you. I felt this even when you was reading. But I also wanted to know, how long were you in this, unhealthy stage before realizing that, okay, I'm in a healing place. I'm in a good healing space, if that makes sense.
How long? I went through. Okay, so so to be very honest, this chapter 6, 5 and 6. So anyway, in 2024 is when I experienced like the final straw. It was the straw. And so I went through a process, and for some reason God had put on my heart to do a brunch. Sis, it's time to heal. So for me, I plan events. I hope to encourage other women, and so that is always my intent behind any event that I plan or organize. And so August of 2025, right, I had my first Sis It's Time to Heal brunch. I did not understand. It was something I was going to do, like August is my birthday, so, but God had truly laid it on my heart, and I didn't understand why in that moment. But God had laid on my heart to do the brunch in August, and it was just so pressing that you have to do this by the end of August. I did not know why. I didn't understand why. And so I planned the event in a month's time, and I planned the event, and it was there, like I planned the event for other women to come and to be healed, because I thought that I was there. But it was at that event that I truly received my healing. And I did not know that as I was planning the event, the person that's chapter 5 and 6, you'll read about it, but he actually got married. So the date that I had planned the event was the same weekend that they were getting married. And so I didn't know in that time that God was preparing me for that. And so the same date initially that I had planned the event for was the same date that he was getting married, but I didn't know. And so I had to change my date to the 31st. I had to change my date to the 31st of August, but God, it was so pressing on my heart that God was like, you have to do this before the end of August. And so I didn't find out until several months later, but I understood once I realized, and it didn't impact me the way that I thought it would have, because that day I received my healing.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I remember that day. I was there. Katrice, I am so very proud of you. We
Thank
have
you.
been friends for years, community, all that you give to others. We've been through them little walks with them little relationships or whatever, and I told you a long time ago, God is not going to let you settle. Sometimes we got to be like, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah.
When you think it's for me. So when I go back and I look at what you just read, let me put my glasses on. I done got older. Many of us confuse God's will with our wants, and we end up grieving what God never promised. There are more than one way to understand the will of God.
Mhm.
At that healing in August, we touched on subjects of barren women not having children. We touched on abuse. We touched on a whole lot of subjects or whatever. And we have to have these walks through life or whatever too. Is we don't been through divorce. We don't have children. Our daughters, we aspire for them to take our lessons and go forward and have lessons from them that they can bring into their own lives or whatever too, so they can have the cautious sign about who's for them and who's not for them.
Right.
All that to say, if the husband ain't for you, if the children ain't for you, it's other things that God has promised that you have to get out here in the world to do. And you have to be okay with without. That's it.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you, Tanya.
Woo, woo, yeah. That was good. She said you got to be okay with the without. Come on, somebody.
Yes, you got to be willing to stand alone. It's a part in there too that speaks to that, like embracing like your time, like being.
Reclaiming your time.
Right.
Speak, girl.
Okay, I have a two-part question, comment type
Okay.
thing. Okay. Within your book and within your experience of relationships, you mentioned that you had several heartbreaks. This one was different. In most cases, we tend to see the red flags, but we ignore the red flags.
Mhm.
At what point, leading into this relationship, did you choose not to see the red flags? Because I'm sure they were present.
Mhm.
So was it a situation to where you may not have been completely healed moving into this situation, and you considered yourself as an asset, but an asset can be just like a purse or things that can be thrown away, set
Right.
aside. At what point did you choose not, you saw the red flags and you chose to just ignore it?
Okay. So that's a thinker. All right. So I would say offhand and initially, I think my approach was different because like I mentioned, like I went through a few heartbreaks. I had a couple failed relationships, and so I felt like I was doing something different this time. And so one of the main things that I was doing was seeking God, and I was prayerful about my connection with this person. And so that was the main thing that was different. I honestly didn't really see red flags right away. And in chapter 5 or 6, I talk about how you can kind of see like a shift in person and a shift in pattern. So it wasn't like red flags right away. And the interesting thing, especially for people of faith is when you desire a spouse that, is a man of God. A man is a man, and so I believe that because he was he is or was a person of faith and a man in church, and because I was praying, I felt like I was doing something. I was doing something different because I was seeking God. And so, like I said, the red flags didn't come right away, but then there were moments where it was like, this feels different. It feels off. But as far as we go, our alignment with like family, with ministry, with community, those things align. And so I think that I was so caught up in the alignment that I may have missed red flags beforehand, but honestly, I didn't see them right away, but I did feel them, but I continued to hold on. So I would say maybe a couple years in, I started to notice this shift. You can sense when someone is pulling back from you. You can sense like a shift in a person's presence, I guess I can say. But yeah, so I noticed probably a few years in, but by then, hey, I was invested, like I said. But yeah, so yeah, did that answer your question some? Oh, asset. And then that's the other thing. This is something that I learned where you talk about being an asset. And naturally, I am a person that supports. I am a person that shows up. I am a person that gives. But what I've learned is, I say this somewhere in the book about how people take advantage of those things. And so sometimes we think we're being an asset when really we're being used. We're being used to fulfill somebody else's vision. We're being used to build like how many times, I ain't gonna lie, I have built a bear, built a man, built a vision. Like I've done all those things. And so, and so that's definitely been me. And so just using wisdom moving forward, using discernment, and just because I know how, just because you know how, doesn't mean you have to give freely and completely invest in a person. Sometimes we have to allow people to invest in themselves and just be there to be their support and be an asset that way. So
finally, I will say this is more of a comment than a question, because this has taught you and you have grown spiritually, and this heartbreak may one day circle back. And I say to you, never let them tell you twice that they don't want you. Never let them tell you twice that you're not good enough. Never allow them to come back to finish the job, because right now you were not left broken. So never let them come back to finish the job.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you. All right.
My Lord, she said never let them come back to finish the job.
Yes.
They might circle back around. Mama.
Listen.
Sis, y'all better take this mic, because let me tell you something.
Girl, they always circle back. I don't know.
Spin the blunt right now, but guess what? I'm different.
Yeah.
Anybody? Oh.
Yeah.
They're going to realize the absence of you.
Yeah.
Because what they don't realize is that you were their gift from God.
Right.
So never let them come back to finish the job.
Yeah.
That was for me, y'all. That was for me. Sis.
Yes.
Anybody else? Got some questions, comments?
No.
Mama? No?
My mama crying, y'all.
I know. Look, she about to make me cry over there. Here goes Tanya. Tanya got a
Question. So now, knowing all that you know now,
Mm-hmm.
and he comes up, and not the old, but the new comes to approach. We have standards, right?
Absolutely.
What now would you look for that you didn't look for before in the next man coming forward? Because he is out there.
So I think that one of the biggest things for me is safety. And so I want to feel safe. And it's not going it doesn't take long to figure out like if a person makes you feel safe, if you're safe in that person's presence. So more than anything, I value safety. And when I say, I don't mean physical. I look, your girl been out here in the dating world, and it's different. And so, you know, I had someone, I shared that with someone, and he was like, oh, yeah, I can handle that. But he's thinking the physical aspect. But when I say safety, I mean the emotional safety, not just physical, but like, will you care for my heart? Will you care for my emotions? Will you truly care for me? And so moving forward, safety is like top of my list. And of course, somebody that has faith, but not just have faith, but you're really truly walking in your faith, and that you're embracing your faith and leading by example and leading, you know. So, but listen, I'm not looking, if it happens, but I just know that safety is top of my list.
A man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So he gonna have to find us, and God gonna have to slap us on our forehead to let us know that he's the one. Okay, somebody.
Me and Sean's anniversary is today, so it makes 3 years today.
Congratulations.
And, what I did is I let him chase me. And when I saw how he treated his mother, ooh, girl, I knew I was gonna be all right. So that's what I did different coming forward. You know, I done been through a divorce, and I had 5 children. I stayed single to myself for over 15 years. Because I said, if God had to send him, let me tell you, he sent him. I asked that man what did he want. He said he was Boaz. I said, okay. Be Boaz. And I let him be Boaz. And then when I went over and I saw how every time me and him was together, he was like, well, I got to do this for my mom. I said, you got to do. Then the next thing you know, his mama calling me on the phone. Well, me and Sean, I just wanted him to. He was with his mama, girl. It used to be a lie. They used to lie on their mama. But this man didn't lie on his mama. He was with his mama. So I knew the way he took care of his mama, take his mama to a doctor's appointments, making sure his mama was good. When he took my trash out of my house and took it to the trash can and asked me what
it's
day
the simple
the trash
things.
can need to go beside the street, and every time I looked out, the trash can was taking stuff off of my hands.
Right.
So with your walk forward or whatever, because we done been through ourselves, we know what to look for and what not to look for, whatever too. So we gonna approach things differently. Cause I'll beat them up this time around. Cause you know it's old. I mean, you know, we older now. Can you please get it together? We over here in these great pictures.
Right.
Well. But you know, they act up too. And you might need to do a book too for our sons. Because you know I got boys. So they got to know that if she ain't like mama, she ain't right.
Okay.
So that's why I say if he ain't taking care of mama and making sure mama house good, he's definitely not going to make sure your house is good.
Yeah.
All right, Tanya,
Thank you.
Tanya kicking some knowledge today, y'all. Listen, between her and running. Nadia, I know you got something to say to your mama, some questions, some. Come on, girl.
I might get emotional.
Stand up. Yeah. Is the microphone on?
Is it on?
Can't hear.
Okay. As your daughter, I've seen you go through all of this. This latest one, though, very hard to watch. It was very dark in the house.
Yeah.
Very heavy in the house.
Yeah.
You didn't like opening the blinds, like dark. So I'm very proud of you
Thank you.
for healing for seeking the Lord, for not getting angry with God or bitter, but for understanding His sovereignty, His will, and how He's protected you. And I was telling you last night when I was reading, I was like, you spitting in here like
on page. I'm on page 3.
I didn't highlight it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's helping me,
Good.
preparing me in my season of singleness. Got something you want to say?
Proud of you, sis.
Okay.
We can debrief at home though, 'cause
Okay.
about pages 5, well, chapters 5, 6, and 7.
5, 6, 7.
We can debrief about that one.
But yeah, I'm just super proud of you. Love you to pieces, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Love you too.
Oh, any more question, comments out here? Okay, Kimmy Kim.
I'm proud of you, sister.
Thank you.
That's all I want to say. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Anybody else? You know what, brother? I'm bringing the mic back to you.
All right, cousin.
Okay, so I want to piggyback off of the young
Tanya.
lady in the back, and it's great to see how they treat their mothers.
Yeah.
But you don't want a mama's boy. There's a difference in treating them, like taking them to appointments and things like that. But if you get a mama's boy, it's something different about the mama's boys, because the one thing you want to be is their priority. You do not want to fall number 2 to a mom.
Yeah.
Okay? So another thing I want to say is, I think she stated this as well. You seek God and let that man seek you. Don't go looking for a man, because your light is going to lead him to you. If it's sent by God, He's going to find you, because you walk in a different light. There was something else that I had on my mind to say. And it will come back to me. But I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
There was something else there. But I'm going to leave it there.
Okay. All right.
Get
Look,
up
they
on
had to
point.
tell me to reel it on in. Okay. Woo. I'm speechless at this point. I mean, sis, Jackie. My brother said Jackie. Y'all don't know. That's her name for us, Mama Jackie. She's Jackie all trades. But sis, today was powerful. Powerful. You got the staff at Moody's. Like, let me get that book, baby. Listen, let me get that book. Very powerful. Not only for the women, but for the men also, because we all can learn something from this. I appreciate you. I thank you. I'm gonna piggyback off my niece, because it was hard to go through this with you. I'm that sis that's ready to fight. I'm that sis that's ready to where he at? Where they at? Like, I'm that sis. And so seeing you go through this, walking with you through this, the dark times. But let me say this, y'all. Seeing her, but giving her space, right? Because it was days that I would call her and she wouldn't pick up the phone. It was days that I would try to reach out to her and I won't hear from her. But I allowed her as my sister to have her space. And sometimes we got to allow people to have their space to go through, but let them know every now and then, hey, you pushing me back, but I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm gonna give you that space. So seeing you go through that phase, but allowing you to have your space, but still letting you know, hey, I'm still praying for you over here. You gonna come up out of this thing. But it was about allowing God to do what He needed to do. I can say all I want to say, mama can say, daughters can say, daddy can say, friends can say, but it's about us moving out the way to allow God to do what he did. And because God did what he did, we in Mo and D's right here today with this book, the #1 bestseller on the market, when God says he's not the one, accepting God's will and embracing singleness by none other than my sister Katrice J. Y'all give it up, hand clap for my sis on today, y'all. Listen, I don't know how we closing this thing out, but I'm gonna let you closing out. But I just want to say thank you to Mo Deloach, thank you to Mo and D's for allowing LMG Book Club Series to be present here on our 2nd season, y'all. Listen, if y'all know someone that has written a book or an inspiring author that want to come out, listen, come out, get in contact with my brother Fonte Lyles, and so you can come out and we can come share with you guys. This is something positive that we're doing in the city, y'all, where we can come and share and uplift one another, and just come and have a good time. I'm about to say amen. That's just in me. Amen, somebody. It's just in me. But again, sis, I want to say thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
And listen, y'all, remember, go get the book. Brother Fonte, we did it again, baby. Thank you, y'all. Hand clap of praise for LMG Book Club. I want to say LMG, you know what I'm about to say, studio. Y'all me to say the studio. But anyway, thank you. Thank you, brother, for coming up with this idea. We appreciate you. This would not have happened without you. We thank you for giving us something to do in the community. So, y'all, again, if y'all know anybody that have a book, I think I'm going to call my sis. She going to come once she revamp her book, right? What the Grief is coming up next, none other than Sister Sanithia Renee Mabry. Come on, y'all. But again, we thank y'all again. And thank you guys. Thank everyone for coming out. And back to you, sis.
I'm a person of few words, so yeah, just thank you. I truly appreciate everybody for being here. I have my acknowledgments in the book, but Mother, thank you for being here. Shanita, thank you. My girls, love y'all. And my friends, I love y'all so much. Thank you for the love, the support, the prayers. It truly means the world to me. And so, again, just thank you.